Hey everybody, it's Daniel or Dan with Team Air and Space Fans. We're just waiting for Vic Vizcarra to come in, as well as Mark Antonio Villa, for admins. Uh, and I just want to let everybody know that what's happening is we are going to have a series of questions for Vic, and we're going to leave it open for everybody to ask questions and talk and chit chat and everything like that. So. Um, I'm just letting Vic know that we're live now. And as you can see behind me, the aircraft behind me is the F-105 Thunderchief that he flew. Uh, I want to give credit to Mr. Mark Avila for this walk around video. That's a very, very nice walk around video of the aircraft. And I'm going to say it again here when Vic comes in and when Mark comes in. Just waiting for everybody. Yeah, so basically, if you please hold your questions until after we have our discussion about our questions for Vic. If you have a question, please type the word question in front of your question, either in the Zoom chat or in the chat. I really appreciate that. Way we can make this go a lot smoother. So hopefully, Vic should be here shortly. And we're about 2 minutes into it. He should be here anytime. Got going. See, should be here around. Yeah, it's about. We got about 3 minutes before we start here. Now, this is probably going to last about an hour and 20 minutes because Vic does have a previous engagement he has to get to. So we're going to try to move this along as best we can. And I want to thank everybody that is coming in to join us for this interview. Like I said, please, if you have hold your questions until we discuss with Vic, we have a few questions for him. And I want to be able to get those out of the way before we open the floor. It's going to be a general discussion on what how um, those of you that don't know about Vic, he was shot down over Vietnam in an F-105, and he's going to share his experiences. He's got 3 books out there right now, 3 or 4 books out there, I should say, and we'll be talking with him about that as well. That way, if you guys want to go and you want to order his book, you can go ahead and let me know, and I can go ahead and let him know. You guys can favorite him on Messenger, or Facebook, or something. He actually goes in and sends the orders out, I believe, himself. So, okay, hang on just a second. I guess he's having some problems here. Yeah, he's having some problems getting into the. See if he can come up here. I think I need to give him the entire invitation here. Let's see here. I think he's having problems getting into the live here. He's having some issues here getting in. All right. We got some. Looks like we got some technical difficulties here, guys. Okay, I'm trying to help him. Trying to help him get in here. I guess. Just let me know there's some issues. All right. I think he's having a password problem. I'm getting some information from him here. What's going on? In the event that we have to postpone this, I will let everybody know when the new interview would be, just in case, guys. I just want to make sure that. Says that I'm in another meeting. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute, guys. All right, we'll try now and see what happens. There we go. There's John Taylor. Hey, Mark.
Dano.
What's up? Yeah, he's having some problems on his iPad, I think. So,
Hey, brother.
yep. John Taylor, you know John Taylor. John Taylor was here for the air show with us, and
Yeah.
Hey, John.
How are you?
yep.
Good to see you. I appreciate you being there in the past couple of Zoom meetings, and I've been able to join for my personal reasons, but man, you're a faithful warrior, so appreciate that.
Thank
See,
you.
I should make a John an admin and demote you. What are you talking about?
Hey, I count him in.
Don't do that.
Don't do that because it would be bad.
We messed up
Um,
enough stuff already.
hey guys, we're just waiting for Vic. Vic's having a problem with his Zoom. I guess the Zoom said it's not supported on his browser. So I think he's got an iPad. So figure. I don't want to knock him. I don't want to knock him. So, but yeah. So Vic basically, so we know until we can get his technical problems. Here we go. I think this is old Vic right here. All right. I think this might be him. Yeah, I think this is his wife's name, wife's iPad. He's got to use the wife's iPad.
Yeah, that's no problem. I'm using my phone. Shoot.
Yeah. It looks good on the phone there, Mark. It really does. I'm glad we could get that taken care of.
Did you tell John what happened to my computer?
Yeah, unfortunately, his computer, one of his animals chewed
Oh,
against. Hi, Vic.
Howdy! Finally got on using my wife's iPad.
Okay, I'm gonna have you start your video if you can do that.
Okay.
All right. And of course, Mark's stuffing his face as usual.
You can't tell Vic he did that. He didn't do that once or twice on the F-105 during the mission.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Host has asked you to start your video. Hit okay, I guess, huh?
Yes, sir. And
Hey,
here he is.
I only flew jets. I don't understand all this electronic stuff.
Yeah, well, you know how Mrs. Vizcarra. We talked to her yesterday, guys. She's a sweetheart. She really is a sweetheart.
She's the love of my life, I'll tell you. Met her when she was 13.
No, see, you got started young, Vic. Oh my gosh, what's up with that
Yeah.
thing?
How many
Yeah.
years is that, Vic? How many years?
We just celebrated 64 years of marriage.
Wow! Congratulations.
Yep.
Thank you. It has been wonderful. Wonderful 64.
All right, guys, we're gonna get this ball on the road because Vic has to leave by. He has to be out of his house by. He has to be somewhere at 1 o'clock. So, first of all, I want to thank um, Vic Vizcarra. It's an honor to meet you finally. We talked
Thank you.
yesterday on Messenger, and Mark introduced you to me, and I appreciate you coming to PremierSpaceFans.com to do this interview with us because we want to be able to show the world who the real heroes are. John Taylor's a real hero. We got two heroes side by side here, and John's shaking his head over there. You better stop it, or I'm gonna smack him. I can see the wheels turning in his head over there. So
John is probably saying your bag is getting too heavy, Dan.
yeah, I know, no kidding. Just to let everybody know who Vic Vizcarra is, Vic is a former F-105 Thud pilot, as well as a F-100 Super Sabre pilot, F-4 pilot, and an F-5 pilot. And Vic, you told me some of the stories about that F-100, and the kind of turned me sheets of white there. So, but our big thing now is we want to know your story, what kind of what you do, what you did back in the day. A lot of people don't know exactly who you are. You're an author, of course. You've written 4 books, I believe it is what you've told me.
3
3 books. Excuse
three
me.
three
I
books.
stand corrected. If anybody wants to look up Vic Vizcarra, please do so over on Google and Amazon, or Vic will send you his books himself. So now what we're going to do at this point, we're going to get the ball going here. We want to get ready, jump right into it. So my first question for you, Vic, is tell us how you got into flying.
Well, I'm the fourth child of my parents, naturally, and I came quite late. I think I was a oops baby, because I was born 12 years after my parents thought they had finished raising a family. And so my oldest brother was 15 years older than me. And I remember as a young kid, 5 years old, uh, my my parents had moved back to the old country, Mexico. So I was separated from my brother, and my dad didn't want me to forget him. So he'd say, "Now don't forget, you have another brother." And I'd say, "Well, where is he?" And he'd say, "Other side of the world." "Well, what's he doing?" "He's fighting the bad guys." "Well, how's he fighting the bad guys?" "He flies an airplane." Ding, man! I said, "I want to be just like him." And
Nice.
and fortunately, 20 years later, I achieved my dream, and I was flying the F-105 Republic Thunderchief, and he had flown the P-47 Republic Thunderbolt. So followed in his footsteps, and he was the greatest influence in my life.
Yeah, it's something to where you can actually look up to your big brother, and your family members and so on, and it's humbling to actually see a lot of that come out as far as things go today. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening today, and there's a lot of politics going on, and a lot of people don't realize the sacrifices your brother and you have made for this country is to keep us to do this, to actually transmit this Zoom call and
Yeah.
interview to the world. Uh, everybody, everybody, um, everybody on YouTube. We got 3 viewers on YouTube so far. We've got you and John. We got Mark Anthony. We got myself, John Taylor. We're here and we're having a lot of fun, but we don't. We're not having that unless we have to observe the past, okay? And we're looking at a history with you and John sitting right here. John, you better not go nowheres.
Be right back.
I, I, okay, we'll shut his YouTube video off because or his video off because we don't want to see him go number two. But no. Actually, I think a lot of people don't understand the sacrifices that has been made to get us this far. Your brother making that ultimate sacrifice. Now, is your brother still alive with us, or is he gone?
No, unfortunately, like I say, he is 15 years older than me. Lost him about 9 years ago. I'm the last of the Mohicans. I had two older brothers and a sister, and the sister passed away first, uh, and then uh, and then my oldest brother, and then a story I like to tell is uh, when my oldest brother passed away. Of course, I just left me and my other brother, who was 14 years older than me. And when I called him to let him know that Gil, my oldest brother, our oldest brother, had passed away, there was silence at the other end of the phone. And I thought there was ooh, he's not sounds looks like to me like he's not taking this very well. And he finally says, now remember, he's 14 years older than me. So he finally says, "Well, you know what that means, don't you?" And I said, "No, what?" He says, "That means that it's now just you and me, and then pretty soon it'll just be me."
Right? Exactly. Exactly. You don't know what you have until it's gone, and a lot of these guys that fought and died back in World War II, Vietnam, and things like
Yeah.
that, they just um, they get the old expression, "Some gave all." That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I see that you're wearing an American flag shirt there. I like that.
Yeah.
Looks
Yeah.
nice. And God we
I thought
trust.
it'd be appropriate. I
Yep.
thought it'd be appropriate for today.
Well, I have mine here, so I don't know if you can see it here.
Ah,
Aviator
uh-huh.
six,
Yep.
yeah, Aviator six pack. He's got the Premier Museum one, and John never comes dressed for the occasion.
Well, I did last week.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, you did. I forgot. We Vic.
Today's laundry day. It has to be washed.
No, yeah. Vic, what we do every week, or not every week, every couple of weeks, or whenever I get time, I do the Premier and Space Museum talk, and I mentioned that we were going to have you on here. and it's a like I said, it's two heroes that are sitting here, and um, um, it, I lost my train of thought now because we got a question in the YouTube chat, but we're gonna hold all questions till the end of the interview, guys, because we're kind of pressed for time because Vic has to be somewhere at 1 o'clock. So anyway, I was saying that the ultimate sacrifice, some gave all. You know, you and John. I know John told me you're never in combat, more or less. You just sit stateside, more or less. But Vic here, Vic has been through some scathings. So now, Vic, my next question is leading up to this. I have two parts kind of to this question. Now, what does it feel like when you eject from an aircraft, and when you were shot down, what were you feeling?
Well, okay, let me back up. First of all, uh, I want to correct a fact. I wasn't shot down. The Air Force took the easy way out, and they claimed I was a shoot down, when actually the thing that shot me down was Pratt and Whitney. I had an engine failure while I was on a mission, unfortunately, and but typically the Air Force thought it'd be easier to just count me as a shoot down rather than have to go and investigate
Cover up.
an accident over North Vietnam. So
Cover up.
yeah. So anyway,
Yeah,
but
you're
to
not
answer
going to do a site survey.
yeah, but to answer your question, how's it feel? I'll tell you what. I think I could speak for every pilot. When you're under an emergency situation, you're so busy reacting to the emergency that you don't have time to get scared or fear. And like for one thing, is when I started having my engine problems, I was on a two-ship wild weasel Iron Hand mission. We were looking for three new suspected SAM sites just north of the DMZ and about 30 miles inland from the coast. And as we're looking for these sites, all of a sudden I had a hellacious compressor stall. Now I flew the 100 before I flew the 105, and the 100 was known for compressor stalls. I mean, once you get down to about 200 knots, if you got high angle attack, which nobody would be high angle attack at 200 knots, you could get a compressor stall real easy, and you wouldn't even ride it up. That was just a known fact for the 100. You'll get a compressor stall at that stage of flight. The 105, on the other hand, had a very good duct system. So when you got high angle attack at lower speed, you were not prone to compressor stalls. So when I got my compressor stall, I realized that was abnormal for the airplane, but I realized I was having engine problems, but I thought I'll be able to nurse this baby home. So I didn't get scared. I just started going through the actions. First of all, I called lead, let them know I was having compressor stalls, because like I say, that's very abnormal for a 105. But I left a little trail for the bad guys to find me, because first thing I did is dropped my bombs and got rid of them. Tried to lessen the weight of the aircraft. And after the bombs, I went with a little bit further. Still wasn't able to maintain airspeed and altitude, so got rid of the wing tanks. After the wing tanks, I had to get rid of the multiple ejector rack, the center line where you carried your bombs. And guys were punching these things off for any little reason, and we're running short. So maintenance and the munitions people had put out the word, if at all possible, save the mirror rack, bring it home. You can get rid of everything else, but try and save the mirror rack. Well, it got to the point where I couldn't even maintain airspeed with what I had jettisoned. So sorry, maintenance, but here goes the mirror rack. So I left a little trail for the bad guys to find me, because as I was going along, I'm just dropping things after one and another. But I finally got to the stage where, like I said, I couldn't maintain airspeed and altitude. I was down to 172 knots, which was about 10 knots below what we flew final approach speed. And I finally realized that I was going to adjust in the airplane too. So I called out to lead that I was hooking up my lanyard. In those days, anytime you were below 2,000 feet, that was considered a low altitude ejection. So you had a lanyard that you would connect to your D ring when you're below 2,000 feet. And what that would do is it would bypass the altimeter and the timer in a chute, and it would give you an immediate open chute for a low altitude bailout. So I had flown a mission earlier, non-combat, over in Korea with a buddy of mine, and when he had to bail out, and it stuck in my mind because he called hooking up a lanyard before jumping out, and I remember I always thought to myself, boy, what a presence of mind to call out hooking up my lanyard. So I did the same thing. So the last thing I told the guys before I went out was, okay, Clipper 2 is hooking his lanyard and I'm leaving. So first thing that happened is I raised the handles and nothing happened. And I thought to myself, man, I'm having a bad day. First the engine quits and now the seat's not working. So, and let me tell you, under uncontrolled conditions, if you're in a spin or the airplane is out of control, there's no qualms about grabbing those handles and squeezing the trigger. When you're under controlled flight, just straight and level, it takes a little bit of nerve to squeeze those triggers, because I remember I pulled the handles up, the canopy did not go. So I thought I've got to blow myself through the canopy, which was a secondary emergency procedures. You could blow yourself through the canopy. So there I was trying to get the nerve to squeeze the triggers. And I remember, again, control flight is kind of takes some nerve. But the thing that shocked me was the sensitivity of those triggers. I remember it took me a long time, or what seemed like a long time, to squeeze those triggers. But when I finally got my fingers on those triggers, I was shocked at how sensitive they were. It seemed like I barely touched them, and there went the canopy, and I followed right behind it. And that's when I also came to the realization that I had a new escape system. And the old system, when you raise the handles, it would jettison the canopy. Under the new system, when you raise the handles, all it would do is would arm the system, and the canopy wouldn't go until you actually squeeze the triggers. So all of a sudden, I started realizing what was happening, why things were working as advertised. I just didn't realize it at the time. But anyway, I went out at such a low airspeed that it was a very mild ejection. I remember the airplane going. I mean, I was able to read the instrument panel as I went up the rails. The seat did a huge arc. I remember seeing my feet up against the blue sky as I did a somersault. And then as I came back down, I remember cussing my lead because of coming by so close to me. And I said, geez, lead, what the hell are you doing so close to me? Well, there wasn't lead. It was the airplane I just left. It was my own airplane. So,
oh my.
Sounds like something you would do down on War Thunder.
Yeah, exactly.
So then I prepared for so I'm coming down a chute, and I'm over a very dense jungle. So I have to kind of, hopefully, I don't know how much of a family show this is, but I had to protect the family jewels, because I'm coming down over this thick jungle. And to say that I made a landing in the trees would be an exaggeration, because it was more like a crash landing. I mean, I'm coming down, and when I hit the trees, it was a very sudden stop. It knocked the breath out of me, and now I'm hanging upside down with my right ankle wedged in a tree branch split there. So I'm hanging upside down, and it took me several attempts to do an upside down sit up to grab the branch to get up of a tree, which I finally did. But I'll tell you what, it took so many attempts, and I was so tired and so happy to get up on that branch. All I wanted to do was get off the damn tree. And those trees in Southeast Asia grow to 200 feet. So I'm up there and I'm looking down, and because of those trees, soon after we got down to Southeast Asia in the war, they the Air Force modified our chutes and put a 200-foot lanyard woven into the backpack of the chute. So there's a little pocket back there. You open it up, pull lanyard, the lanyard out, feed it through the chute risers, bring it down, and then clip it to your chest strap, and you can release yourself, and then you can control the speed of how fast you come down or how slow by where you put that lanyard. Well, the bad thing about it was that was a new system. I'd only been trained in it in one time about 6 months earlier, and I wanted to get down so much from that chute that I wasn't sure I could remember how to do it correctly. So what I did is I took my helmet off and released it to see how high, get an idea of how high up I was. And I was surprised when the helmet disappeared immediately. So didn't learn anything by releasing the helmet. So then I did something very foolish. I took a chance and released myself and dropped down. Well, was I shocked and surprised, because when I dropped down, it was only about a 6-foot drop. There I was on the jungle floor already.
Oh,
So, which means that when I was hanging upside down, my head was only about 3 feet off the ground.
the heck?
Yeah. So anyway, so I made it to the ground there, and tried to give you the cliff version of it. I ended up spending 2 hours on the ground. Great support from everybody trying to get me out of there, and of course, I'm busy doing all the things you're trained to do to check, and it's kind of a comedy of errors. It's my two sons, who became Navy aviators, have heard my story about Bela. Well, once they became pilots themselves, I remember them meeting me, getting together and saying, "Dad, how in the hell did you ever get rescued?" Because it was a comedy of errors, things I did things wrong. The first thing you're supposed to do when you get on the ground is you turn off. We all carried a beeper in our backpack, and so when you bail out, it would turn on automatically, so people would know somebody's bailed out. You hear this beep beep beep, and but it would interfere with your regular emergency radio. So the procedure was to turn it off as soon as you got on the ground. So when I got on the ground, I hit the switch, turned it off. Well, the next thing I hear from my flight lead is saying, "Clipper 2, secure your beeper, secure your beeper." Well, I just had. I thought to myself, what's with this, Well, what happened was the beeper had been packed with it incorrectly. It had been packed with it in the off position. So when I hit the switch without looking at it, I wasn't turning it off. I was actually turning it on. So,
Wow.
like I said, it was a comedy of errors. So then, next thing I do is I took out my emergency radio, and I always thought, based on my experience, I always thought it was poorly designed. What it was saying, it would be in the off position. You push up, it would hit the voice. Push up again, you'd hit beeper. Well, with the adrenaline running, when I pushed it up, I pushed it right through voice, and I'm in beeper mode. So here, when leads tried to talk to me, I could hear him in voice, and when I answered him, I'm just giving him beeps. So now he's got to play 20 questions, and I could say, "Clipper 2, if you're okay, give me one beep." So I went to give him one beep, and I give him a beep and a half. So he comes back and says, "Understand you may be injured. If you're injured, give me 2 beeps." Well, I'm thinking, well, I'm not injured, so what do I do now? So anyway, we got out of sequence with me beeping and with him talking, and we had to start all over again with 20 questions. So anyway, he finally says, "Save your radio, seek shelter," and we got air rescue on the way. So I sat down in the jungle floor, and even though the jungle was very thick, I realized that I'm just out there in the open. So next thing I do is I thought I got to find a place to hide. So I ran up about 200 yards or walked very fast, 200 yards up towards some karst, which I'd seen. Are you guys familiar with karst? Karst?
Karst. Mark,
It,
you
it's
know what that is?
No,
Oh,
okay. Karst is uh, dried volcanic rock indigenous to that area. So here throughout the jungle, thick jungle carpet, every once in a while you'd find these mountains of karst. Well, the bad guys would use it because it's very porous inside there, and there's a lot of caves. So the bad guys would use it to store supplies in there. So when I got up to the karst, I'm trying to think. I gotta hide, and all of a sudden, as my adrenaline uh, dissipated, all of a sudden my vision kind of opened up, and here's all these different entrances to these caves in the karst. So I thought, hey, what better place to hide than there? So went in there, and I was shocked at how dark. Within a few steps of going in there, how dark it was. So I had to stop and let my eyes get accustomed to how dark it was, and I was shocked. It was like a labyrinth. I could go passage straight in, or take a right, or take a left. So typical fighter pilot, I went to the left. You ask a fighter pilot to do a roll, and invariably he'll do it to the left because it's easier to push the stick than to pull it. So typically I went down the left passageway, and then I found another passage, turn right, and by now I'm starting to get a little concerned. I'm going to be able to find my way back. But anyway, to make a long story short, I ended up in there, and while in there, that's the first time, up to this time, I've been reacting to my training. And while I'm up in there, that's the first time I thought of my family. And my boys at that time were 6 and 5, and they would remember me if I didn't get rescued. But I had a daughter that had just turned 1 year old, and that's the first time it hit me that if I didn't get rescued, she would never know me. So I stopped for the first time and said a little prayer. And non-believers are probably gonna think I'm crazy, but as soon as I finished the prayer, I said, "Dear Lord, get me out of here." I hear the jets coming back, and I thought to myself, my prayers have been answered. Somebody, non-believers, probably say, "Hey, that was just a coincidence." But anyway,
I have a quick question before you continue.
sure,
I wanted to know: are you a Christian like me? I am.
I'm Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and a practicing Catholic. So, so anyway,
That's awesome.
so then I heard the airplanes come back out. So I came back out, and with all the mistakes I'd made, the one thing that I had done correctly as I stayed oriented. So by now the Sandies, the A1s are in. Uh, oh, and when I came back out of the cave, all of a sudden I feel these big drops of water. It starts raining. And I look up the sky, and what used to be a broken deck is now fully overcast with some rain coming down there. Meanwhile, these two Sandys, A1s, were capping me, and Sandy 7 took command of the rescue. And I owe my life to this guy because I remember him saying, "Oh, he flew over me," and he says, he tells us with me, he says, "There's a hole over there." He says, "I think I can spiral down and get underneath the stuff." And I'm down there looking up there, and I'm seeing these karst mountains disappearing into into the clouds, and I'm thinking, man, this guy's got some big ones. So sure enough, he spirals down, and once he got underneath the stuff, he asked me to give him a ADF count because he had with the ADF he could hold in on my transmission. So I gave him a count. He flew directly over me, and as he went right over me, I said, "He just went over me." No response, nothing. And I think to myself, Oh shit, he didn't hear me. Well, I got copies from the command post transmissions from the ship, the SS Halsey, and when I got a copy of it after I got rescued, I was able to read it, and he had heard me. He just was playing it smart, and he didn't want to give my location away, so he didn't respond because of that.
Speaking of
Well,
those transmits, do you still have a hold of those, or are those gone with the Air Force? Or
still have what, a hold of the transmissions or the
yes,
guy?
the transmission?
Yeah, I got I got a copy of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I'd like to see that copy if you don't mind, Vic.
Okay. I'll take a picture of it and shoot you a copy.
Good. All right, guys.
Yeah.
I need to interrupt for just a second here. We got about 7 minutes and 55 seconds left here for the first segment. Um, what we'll do is just to give you an idea, we'll break. We'll use the same link that you guys came in on, and we'll just keep on going from there. And I'm watching the time for you, Vic. I know that you're going to be counter looks like 40, almost 45 minutes right now. So once this timer goes out, we'll start up again, and we'll have another 30 minutes, and you should be fine. It's 11:36 right now, so we got plenty of time. I mean, plenty of time.
Yep.
So, I have a question from the YouTube chat here, Vic.
Uh-huh.
Now he says that it's from NASA Bielas. Okay, I kind of it's in relation to what you were talking about before about the compressor stall and all that stuff.
Uh,
Um, NASA Biela says, Vic, what was the Thud really a maintenance nightmare, as the interwebs describes, or was it more reliable than stated? Were you more afraid of getting hit by AAA or aircraft issues?
okay. First of all, talk about the reliability. The Thud. Anybody that flew the Thud or maintained it, with very few exceptions, loved the airplane. It was a very reliable airplane. In fact, in Southeast Asia during the war, it had the highest operational ready rate. It was just under 89% OR rate. And these are being maintained by these young kids, 19 years old. You know, the maintenance guys were something else. They're great.
Yeah, I'm pointing at Vic. I'm pointing at the. We have two of them side by side.
That's your G model there.
That's your G model. This video was taken by my Mark. He did a really nice job at going to the walk around. He wants to do the. Now, he had a question earlier. I think it's a great question. You flew the one seater or the two seater?
I was a single seat guy. Now, each squadron had 2 or 3 2-seaters in the squadron, so I've also flown the 2-seater, but I was not a wild weasel. So I was a strike pilot.
Strike pilot, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We're gonna get to our last question here in the next segment because it might be a lengthy one. You've already seen the question, Vic, and I'm pretty sure you have a nice answer for that one. But we'll just chit chat for about maybe another couple of minutes, and then I'll stop it, and we'll take maybe a 5 or 10 minute break. Grab yourself something to drink, whatever. Use the head or whatever you want to call it. You know.
Okay.
Hey, Vic.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you pronounce your last name? Is it Vicarra or Vizcarra?
Vizcarra.
Vizcarra with an S, right? Vizcarra.
Vizcarra.
Vizcarra. Okay.
He's Spanish. He's Spanish, Mark.
Spanish Basque. Spanish Basque.
What are you again?
Spanish Basque.
Spain.
From Spain.
From Spain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I've always wanted to ask you that question. What's your background? Whether you
okay, all the kids, there were 4 of us. I had 2 older brothers and an older sister and myself. We were all born in the States, but when I was 2 years old, my parents decided to go back to the old country, which was Mexico. They came from Mexico, Hermosillo, Sonora. So my first language was Spanish because at 2 you're only learning how to speak. So and that's when we went down to Mexico, and my first language, like I say, is Spanish, and Vizcarra is the Americanized pronunciation, but Vizcarra is the real one.
So your parents are from Sonora?
Exactly, Hermosillo, Sonora.
Oh wow, that's amazing. My wife is from Caborca, Sonora.
Ah, okay, yeah,
My wife is from Caborca.
very good. So you must speak Spanish too, then?
Claro que sí,
Ah, muy
100%.
bien. Qué bueno, me gusta practicar, o sea, de vida.
Por
Ándale, pues,
eso,
ándale, pues.
por eso puse mucha atención a tu historia de aviador, porque se miraba que eras hispano. So,
Ah, ajá, sí.
por eso quería investigar tu historia y hablé con mi amigo Dan para hacerte una entrevista.
Inglés, por
Ah,
favor. Inglés,
Por
por
eso,
favor.
sorry there.
No, you guys are fine. No, I'm just messing with Mark
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
wants to say some garbage in Spanish that me or John can't hear. So
oh, Dan is Colombiano. No,
and he knows.
Ah,
He knows.
yeah.
Yeah,
Colombiano.
I talked to Vic yesterday and by Messenger. Me and I FaceTimed on Messenger, and I told him that my father was pure Colombian, and
Yeah.
I've got uncles that are and aunts that are Colombian and everything like that. So, all right, guys, it's about a minute left. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and I'm going to go to the restroom, do what I got to do. I don't know if you guys are gonna grab some coffee, Mark. John, fix your makeup, and maybe Vic, you know,
So use the same link.
yeah, use the same link to come back into the room. Because what'll happen? John, are you serious? Really, John? He
Yeah.
says, "Okay, I'm Floridiano, from fourth generation." No, no, no,
My,
no, no,
my
no, no, no.
father's family was second Spanish period in Florida.
That's cool.
So
You never know where anybody's from.
see John here is part Cuban. You got to watch out for him. He's like Tony
No,
Montana.
okay. No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they speak Spanish too over there.
Oh yeah, oh
watered
yeah,
down.
yeah. Watered down. We all come from the same blood. That's all it is. We all come from the same blood, no matter
Yep.
what color you
Remember
are.
what George Carlin said?
Don't even go there, John. I already know what you're gonna tell. I know what you're gonna say, John. Quit it. Quit it. All right. So, all right, guys. So it's about a minute. We're gonna go ahead and end this session here. I'm gonna go ahead and put our intermission thing up here. It's gonna be the live stream for the Premier and Space Museum. So, we'll talk to you guys very soon in about maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
That's good.
All right. See you guys in about 10 minutes.
Sure.
Thanks, Vic.
Yeah.
All right, we're back up here, guys. Thanks very much for coming back here. We got John Taylor back here. Let me see if Vic is coming back here. Uh, Mark should be back here shortly. I just informed Vic that we're back up.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him, he did a video on Operation Spring High, which was the first strike against SAM sites, what the dates were for that.
Okay, we'll get to it here once we get the third question done.
I,
You know, I
I
want to get.
suspect one of the TDYs I was on out of McConnell was in support of that, but I don't remember the dates.
Okay, we'll get to that, John. All right, Vic. Hang on. Let me ask you to start your video. There you go.
Okay. There you go.
There we go. And
Yeah.
we're back, guys. We're waiting for old Mark to get back in here. Hopefully, he, he's always last. Just messaging him now. All right, I'm gonna go forth with our last question, Vic, and it's the most important question. I'm sure you know what it is. Um, I what advice do you give young people and teenagers for becoming part of aviation as well as part of the aviation industry and following their dreams more or less, you know. We want to be able to give them some solid advice uh, because the fans of the Premier Space Museum, as well as Premier Space Museum, we're basically the same entity on the internet. We spawned off of the fans page to a website and to the YouTube channel and things like that. What advice would you give them and
Well,
your words?
believe me, that's a lot harder question to answer nowadays than a few years back. And, it's political, so I don't want to get into it too much because, but truthfully, I'm very concerned with the direction that our country's going. And so years ago, it was been very easy to tell the person, yes, I highly recommend going into the service and serving your country. Now, uh, without getting too political, I I can't recommend it as willfully as and freely as I used to. Hopefully, things will change and things will get better. But when the military starts putting more emphasis on some of these woke things rather than real training, that concerns me. So
Yeah, I within this day and age, it's a real thing, but I'm sure that the commercial aspect of it or the engineering aspect of it is probably more or less, when you gentlemen were in John, it was a heck of a lot different because you knew. Yes, yes, Patricia, we're watching the time. I saw your head go that way. I saw your head.
Patricia, you got caught, Patricia.
We got her. We got her. We got her. No, I saw your head float that way. So you were shaking your head. So yeah, we're watching the time. But like I said, she
That's a
got
good one.
caught. She got caught.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, you're right. You're correct. And without being political, yes, it's a real a bear nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. They're leaving to go commercially.
Exactly. There's a shortage of pilots all the way around, commercial and military.
Right.
But here, let me just give you a little example. One of the problems with the military is all the good flying only occurs now when you're deployed. So you have to get separated from your family to get good flying hours, because all the hours are being used up during deployments. when you come back from your deployment, there aren't good enough hours, so you don't get as much flying, and you spend the extra time with all this darn nuisance. Do you use a pronoun to address your teammates and all that or not? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's gotten bad.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's gotten bad to the point, it's not trying to down our country or anything, and discourage people going, but the more engineering and innovation is what I'm talking about, more or less. I mean, these a lot of the aircraft that, if you notice in my background, Vic, is your aircraft is one
Mm-hmm.
of you one. Well, it's the walk around of the type of aircraft. It's the Wild Weasel that Mark took, and engineering that goes behind all of this is kind of, it's very. You've got from the Wright brothers till now. We've got a company out there called Boom Supersonic that's actually uh, taking the reins into more passenger, um, you know, supersonic ability. Instead of
Yeah.
using supersonic engines, they're going to be using hypersonic engines, and that's, to me, like, all these stealth bombers and stealth fighters that are out there are just technological things. I mean, weapons of war and stuff like that. But the civilian market for a lot of this stuff is where it's at. I mean, the engineering aspects. I mean, give you an example. My best friend, Carolyn, she works for Boeing, and she works for the Phantom Works, and she said it's one of the most rewarding jobs she's ever had. She's been there for 14 years,
Wow,
and
good.
she's done a lot of good designing things and being an aerospace engineer, and she's really loving it. I mean, and because of what she learned in school, as far as some of her family being in the military, she went into the more of the civilian market than
Mm.
in the space market. So, I think lesson being learned here, from what you have said, is that we have a um, we have to show these kids, um, how can I say it? Maybe one of you got the word, but I don't right now. Show them the way to be productive and to be old fashioned, like we were back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Until all this stuff started blowing up here. And
The term I like to use is follow your dreams.
that's it. See, that's one thing I keep saying to a lot of the little kids I meet. I see all kinds of little kids running around the Air Museum all the time, and I talk to their parents, and I say, it's all about the parenting. It's all about the direction that they lead them in, and you got to be a good role model for your kids. And Mark knows he's trying his best to be a good role model for his kids, things like that. John, I don't know about you, John. You got children? You have children yourself, right?
I just spoil nieces and nephews. That's my job.
I'll see. And I'm sure, Vic, you've got children as well, right?
Had two boys and a daughter, and they each had two kids, so six grandkids. Uh, Fortunate to have two of the three kids here locally. One's in North Carolina, and have four of the grandkids here locally. And the other two, they're adults now, so the other two, are making their own life. So they're in Kansas area.
Now,
So
your two boys said were naval aviators, right?
they're the naval aviators. The joke of the family is that that was the most expensive Navy rescue. When the Navy rescued me, I had to give them I had to give them my first and second born.
Right. All right, Vic. I appreciate the answer to that. That's a really, really honest. It's an honest answer. We don't want to sugarcoat it, coat it for anybody. However, as far as the kids go, um, like I said, we've got a lot of people watch these interviews and these talks that we have and stuff like that, and I get a lot of good feedback from a lot of people. And this is one of the good questions that I've decided to keep in a lot of the interviews because look at where you're at, look at what you've done. You've flown, you've loved flying. Like me and Mark and I can't match what you and John have done.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't match that. I'm just a person
Well,
that's been.
I fly the F-105 on War Thunder. I mean,
What did I tell you, Vic? What did I tell you about this guy? He's right now since his computer is broken, he's having with War Thunder withdrawals right now.
Well, let me tell you my philosophy about flying. When I retired from the Air Force, that's the last time I flew, as a pilot, because I believe God gave us a certain number of takeoffs and landings, and I've used them all up.
yeah.
That's good, Vic.
As
That's
long as they
good.
come out even, you're
Any landing you can walk away from is a good one. That's
Yep.
always. Yep. All right, John, you had a question for Vic, right?
yes. You did I think I'm gonna call it a video on Operation Spring High.
Yes.
What was the dates on that? And I'm asking for a personal reason.
The Spring High was the 27th of July, 1965.
Okay. The reason I asked right about then, because I was at McConnell at that time with the munitions squadron, and we had a no notice deployment. They packed us up. It took us 2 days to get to Okinawa on a C-124 that broke at every stop. And we sat there for about 60 days on classified orders with a classified destination, and then they sent us home. And until you did Spring High, it was like, that was a fun trip. Why were we there? And finally, it's taken all these years for like, I wonder if that's why we were there.
Yeah, the 563rd out of McConnell flew in that mission.
Okay. Yeah, that was probably the worst arrival I had in the Air Force because we finally got to Okinawa in the middle of the night. It was raining. They loaded us up in trucks, took us up in a hill. We spent the night in an ammo area that had been used forever.
Oh.
And spent a week clearing it, and because we're going to get this operational. And the only people there were two NCOs that had been there and these little Oriental guards. We were up there for a week, and they finally decided to tell us we were on Okinawa. They thought that was funny. After that, it was a great trip because then we went back down and we spent doing piddly jobs for 2 months, wondering why we were there. I think I suspect that's why, just extra bodies.
Welcome, Gordon. Welcome, Gordon Lindsay. About time we see you.
I know it, Dan. Sorry.
You always fashionably late, man. I tell you.
Better late than never.
Yeah, right. Of course. Well, yeah, exactly. We're almost over here, Gordon. Come on now. Of course, we know it with Vic. We know John Taylor. We know Mark Anthony. So it's not real nice to. Yeah, my female friend, she just told me, she goes, I'm gonna mention this, Jamie. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to call you out in the live chat here. She says privately here, she goes, you four are all crazy. The four of you are crazy. Laugh out loud. Y'all sure do love aviation. Of course we do. We're nutcases, you know.
Vic, how many hours did you get in the 105?
1,120. It was my high time jet.
Yeah.
And how many hours did you have in the F4?
only 120. That was the last thing. The good thing I can say about the F4 was my last duty day. I flew a mission in F4, landed, climbed out, and had my retirement orders read right there on the flat line.
Wow, that's a lot of that's. And what about the F100? F100.
100. I can tell you how many hours real
Oh,
quick.
he's
Real-
going. He's going for the logbook. He's going for the logbook. Look out!
I'll have to show you my logbook. Here's a picture of my logbook.
Oh my gosh!
Because as you see, the inscription has every airplane I've flown and how many hours. So
Okay.
F100 was 663 hours.
Wow, a lot of
Can you
hours.
show that to me, Vic?
Yes,
Can you show that plaque to us real quick?
sure.
He's gonna.
Oh wow.
He's gonna. He wants to screenshot it. Was what he wants to do. Vic, that's
Yeah.
what he wants to do.
No, I just
Okay.
want to see what it is.
That is cool. Oh, A37s. Wow, you even flew those.
Well, got a ride in them. I wasn't checked out in it.
Okay.
Out of all the planes that you've flown, Vic, which was your favorite?
By far, the 105.
He's a Thud pilot. He's a Thud pilot. Now, guys,
And then after,
now, guys,
yeah,
I want to make sure everybody remembers. Vic has written 3 books, and I want everybody to buy his books because Vic, his experiences are awesome. I'm sorry, Vic, I didn't mean to interrupt you. There you go.
There's book number 1,
Thud pilot,
book number 2,
the Hun pilot. Yep.
which unfortunately is out of print now, and then book number 3.
There you go. That's a story you were telling me about your brother.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be listing his books on Vic. What I need you to do afterwards is if you can send me links to every single one of those books, except for the one that's out of print.
Okay.
I'll put them on our links page,
Okay.
and that way you can we'll rock and roll. All right.
Appreciate that.
I'm looking on the Google right now, and it looks like Amazon has the books for sale.
Okay. Yeah, Amazon too. You can order them through Amazon as well.
For 24 bucks. For I'm looking at the Thud Pilot book. I'm gonna get that one to begin with.
Okay. Guys, we need to start wrapping this up because Vic does need to leave here shortly. We are at currently 1 hour and 20 minutes. If anybody else has any more questions, let us know in the chat as well as here, guys. If you got any more questions, Gordon, I know you came in on this late, but you'll probably be able to watch it later after we get done streaming it and everything like that. So
I will. I'll chase it down then. Thanks.
yep. And like I said, I'm glad you came in, Gordon.
Yeah.
I think we met at Night Wings once.
No, we actually did the
That's right.
tour,
The backyard tour.
the backyard tour, the back. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep. Time to do another one of those.
it's going to be very difficult to do one of those. I'm going to tell you that right now, and I'll explain later.
Okay.
But Vic,
Any questions, Gordon, for Vic?
what's that?
Does Gordon have any questions for Vic?
I just wanted to listen.
I have a question for you, Vic. I have a question real quick for you,
Sure.
Vic.
Okay.
I just, since we just found out that you have a Hispanic descent, right? I would like to know if they treated you any different while you were any time in the Air Force as a pilot because you were Hispanic.
Well, I'll tell you real quickly. What I did is there was discrimination, but the best way to fight discrimination is make fun of yourself. So, so when I came down for my first supersonic flight in F-100, I named myself a supersonic wetback, and then it went from supersonic wetback to SWB. So
All right, got a question. I have one question for you. Hey, what was your call sign, Vic?
well, funny thing about it is that in the Air Force we did not have individual call signs like in the Navy, which I think was a mistake. I think it's very good like the Navy has it,
Yep.
because if you have your own personal call sign, it's always reside there in the back of your head, and you'll hear it in the background, and you'll react. If you're like in the Air Force where every day you have a different call sign, you could miss the call sign because you're not attuned to it. So I think that's a mistake that the Air Force doesn't do that. So to answer your question, I really did not have an assigned call sign other than what I named myself.
All right, guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
and my wife said to make sure I told you. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but sometime during my career, the Air Force started generating call signs using a computer. So one day I get up and go out the flight line or go up to the ops counter to see what my schedule was and what my call sign was. And I was startled to find out that my call sign was sperm. So I was sperm 2-1, and my wingman was sperm 2-2. If that's not bad enough, then sperm 2-2 ends up ejecting on that flight. So there I am on guard freak saying, "Mayday, mayday, mayday! Sperm 2-2 just ejected."
No, that's funny.
No, that's
good.
wild. That's wild.
And they paid some genius at the Pentagon a bonus for coming up with that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. NASA Biela says that the Air Force does have call signs now. It was NASA, but I was not a pilot. Something our squadron commander started in our unit. That's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
How fitting, man. That's so perfect right there.
Yeah, it is. Hey, Vic, I have one last question for you, and it's
Sure.
gonna be a real short question. I would, me and Mark and everybody in the fans of the Peter Air and Space Museum group would enjoy having you as a group expert. Okay, I can just send you that request over if you want to.
Sure.
Also, if you have time every couple of weeks when we do our Premier and Space Museum talks, be a regular guest like John Taylor is here.
Sure.
John actually has worked at the museum back in the 1970s. He's got a good knowledge of the history of the museum, and he is actually mentioned in some of their newsletters. So
Sure, no problem. Just send me whatever paperwork you need, and I'll take care of it.
there's not really any pay. Okay, I want your firstborn, your fifthborn, and your ninthborn.
Big Saw, what the hell?
He's like, what the hell is going on here? All right, I said that I was going to keep this to about an hour and 30 minutes. We got about 5 minutes left, Vic. So let's have a little fun. And if we just want to chit chat, we just want to bolster and see who's the best pilot in the world, and with me.
So if Vic hasn't been dubbed a nickname, I think it's gonna be Sperm.
No. You're gonna have to talk to his wife about that one. I don't know about that one.
Well, she's the one that mentioned it first, right, Vic?
Yeah. Hey, I shoot blanks anyway, so.
If you've got any photographs from the back in the day, we'd like to see those occasionally.
Absolutely, Vic. Post post your pictures on the post your pictures on the fan. You're already part of the fans of the Premier and Space Museum.
Yeah.
My wife said I should show you.
You can't, honey. You have to do it the other way.
Well, later on, Vic. I mean, I know you're pressed for time, so.
I was just gonna. My wife wanted me to show you my career. Oh, okay, there you go. Look. Can you see that in the background there? This is my career.
Yeah.
One
Cool.
case.
So,
I used to have this.
Very
This used
cool.
to be a whole wall when we had a house. Now that we're in an apartment, this became my career.
So basically,
Nice.
Vic, what you're gonna do is you're gonna give me that helmet, right?
Yeah.
I'm afraid you're going to fight. You're going to fight my boys for that helmet.
No, I'm afraid that I'm afraid if I do
Vic,
that.
Vic, I'll warn you, Dan will try to claim all your good stuff. So just
Hey,
keep
hey,
Yeah.
a
hey,
lock on
hey,
it.
hey, John Taylor, John Taylor, hush. You're the one that offered me those stickers, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. You've
Hey,
already been paid off.
since we have time, let me just show you one other thing, because what I'm very proud of is how old. Well, I'm going to show you how old this thing is. When I was stationed, got to Japan, there was a little Japanese model maker out by the gate. So you first thing you do is go down there and you order models from him of everything you've flown. Well, I also and unfortunately, all the ones that I had, what I flew, have been destroyed and moves. But the one survivor is
I think this is the one that you got, Mark.
this model of my brother's airplane, and
Oh,
and look at
Oh, neat. Wow.
look what he named it.
Yep.
oh wow.
Nice.
So
That is
this thing dates back to
Wow.
1964.
Wow.
And look at the condition it's in.
Yeah.
So
One of the first.
Did you
classic
build that,
models.
Vic? Did you
Pardon?
build it, Vic?
no. This was made by that little Japanese guy
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
at the gate. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How about the F-105 that I see right there?
Oh, okay. This is
Like a monogram model.
there's this kind of a funny story to this. When you checked out in the 105 at Nellis,
Oh, wow.
they used to present you with a chrome model. Republic would present you with a chrome model of the 105. Well, that's when there was
That's awesome.
an order for 2,000 105s. When the order got cut back to 833, they quit giving you the chrome models and started giving you this instead.
Wow.
The world
That's-
started going
that's,
plastic.
And then my wife said, "Show them." I have my control stick,
Oh, no way. Oh, wow.
and I also have the
Hey, that Tomcat looks familiar.
okay. Notice this instrument panel from the 105.
Wow.
Very cool.
I have two sets of the instrument panel. I don't know if I'm showing it. Really kind of hard to tell whether
We
where I
can see
have it.
We can see it.
Yeah. So,
Well, Vic, you got
That is awesome.
Super.
got a wonderful thing going on there. You have had a wonderful career. It's gonna be. I'm very proud to have you as an expert. Now I'm gonna send you the link to it when you're back.
my wife wanted me to show you this also.
Mama's proud of Joy.
Oh,
That's
wow.
me and my two. That's me and my two boys.
Oh wow. That's amazing.
Who's that? Who's that guy in the center? I don't know that guy.
Wow, that's amazing.
He's an impersonator.
Yeah, I know. Just like
Try-
yeah.
Tries to pass himself off as a pilot.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead, Mark.
He never mentioned what they flew. His sons. What?
Let's see, the one. Okay,
F-14s.
this one, he was a backseater in F-14s. He flew F-14s the first 16 years of his career, and then finished up flying Super Hornets.
Oh,
And,
no way.
Nice.
He was a squadron commander. He had a Super Hornet squadron, and he retired. Funny thing is, when both my sons went in, they told me and their mother, "Dad and Mom, we're going to give Uncle Sam 20 years." Well, this one ended up doing 21, and this one ended up a full 30, and
Oh, my
ended up
goodness.
as an 06. He
Very cool.
retired earlier because unfortunately he ruined his career. He it was in a motorcycle accident that grounded him for 5 years, and he finally was managed to get back in flying status, but he just didn't feel comfortable after that, so he gave it up at 21.
Vic, what squadron was your two sons in?
Let's see, he was commander of the Diamondbacks, the VF 102.
102, yeah,
Yeah.
the Diamondbacks. Yeah, I know them.
Yeah.
Mark was an aardvark.
And Mark was a aardvark, VF A 114, I think.
Wow,
Oddly enough, if I'm not mistaken, they're VF 84 and VF 124 were filming at the movie Top Gun. Of course, we talked to Bozo about a month ago, and Bozo was flying for VF 84 at the time, and he mentioned VF the Aardvarks as well as the Diamondbacks being at Miramar for a little bit. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's gonna be it for right now. I know Vic has to get going. I know his wife is basically tugging on his. Let's go.
well, you let him tell you that, Dan. You let him tell you that.
Well, right now we're already over by 3 minutes, so I know he's got to be where he's got to be at 1 o'clock. So I'm trying to get him in and out as quick as possible.
It's been a pleasure and an honor. I really appreciate you letting me do this.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Vic, for accepting the interview, man. And I know that's going to help our channel, our YouTube channel, and the fans page grow a lot more once they see that we got champion heroes like you interviews on our page. Thank you very much, Vic.
Well, thank you.
Yes, Vic.
Yeah,
like
thank you very much. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's awesome that you're here, and we want to keep you coming back. Just if you can read every once in a while the page, and we've also got articles on the website. We got the YouTube channel, we got the Twitter page. Soon we're gonna have a Patreon page so people can support us, and so forth. So we're still working on stuff.
You may be sorry you're gonna ask me back. My wife says I can't tell a short story.
That's okay.
No. I saw one time.
Perfect though.
That she was slapping you upside the head and saying, "Come on, let's go, let's do this."
No, she's the boss, that's for sure.
Well, she's a very lovely person. She kept you in check for many years. She kept you in check for many.
Love of my life.
She was your general, basically.
Yep. Chief of staff.
All right,
I'd like to once I get my book of the Thud book, I'd like to send it to you to your address so you can sign the cover for me.
Okay, well, wait, are you talking about this Thud book here?
Yes.
I'll send you one of these directly. Just let me where you want it sent, and I usually charge $30, but for you, 25.
Sounds good.
Oh, so for me,
I'll message you I'll message you, Vic, on that, and we'll get that taken care of for me.
Sure.
So Vic, I get it for $10, right? Cheaper? I'm
Plus
kidding.
$20 shipping and handling.
Right. NASA Biela says thanks for this and for Vic and for the interview and everything. So it was wonderful. All right, guys, that's it for now. That's it for now. We'll see you next time. Same time, same bat channel. Thank you, Vic.
Thank you, better.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
Everybody.